Welcome back to another episode of Living in Denver. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite neighborhoods on the western side of town. It's a great spot if you're an outdoor enthusiast or, spoiler alert, a big music fan. So if you like live music, you're not going to want to miss out on this one. Stay tuned. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said, this episode is going to be all about one of my favorite neighborhoods in Denver, Colorado, on the western side of town. Especially great if you're into that outdoor lifestyle or a big live music fan. If you haven't guessed yet, I'm talking about Morrison, Colorado. Before we get started though, guys, my name is Adam Lang. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Denver, Colorado. Love making videos like this, but what I really like, connecting with viewers like yourselves, learning a little bit more about why you might be considering moving to the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado, and hopefully finding out a few different ways that I could provide some value. So make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button below. Release new videos every week. And also just shoot me a message. Give me a call, text, whatever's easiest. All that contact info is down below and let's connect. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. Once again, sharing my neighborhood highlight this week on Morrison, Colorado. Let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. My top 3 reasons why I feel like Morrison is a great option if you're somebody that wants that great balance of outdoor, active lifestyle opportunities. Definitely, in the mountains where you have a little bit cooler weather and a little bit more sense of peace. And then also just being so close to some amazing parts of Denver like Red Rocks Amphitheater. So again, we're going to talk about my top 3 reasons. Going right into it. Number 1, just the scenic beauty of Morrison, Colorado. So Morrison is located just off of C470 near 285, right near the entrance, one of the entrances to Red Rocks Amphitheater. Morrison is kind of the sleepy town that not that many people really know about, and not that many people necessarily go there to go to Morrison as far as to go shopping or go to the restaurants. I mean, it's such a small town that it really is a little bit hidden and kind of off the beaten path, which makes it so great because you really do feel like you're in a little small, very, community-based neighborhood where everybody that lives, and specifically in the town of Morrison, really close to the town of Morrison, you're going to walk around the streets, you're going to see people you recognize, say hello to friendly faces, all that kind of stuff, which you don't get that much anymore living in a big city like Denver. So, but again, guys, going back to number 1, the main reason why I put number 1 as scenic beauty, just the location of where Morrison is. You're literally a 5-minute drive from one of the entrances, like I said, to Red Rocks Amphitheater. Incredible red rock formations. You've got really healthy, mature trees all throughout this area. You've got some really nice creeks that are running through. One of the creeks goes right next to the town of Morrison, so a lot of the restaurants and art galleries and different places in town are, right on the river. They've got river frontage, which is great. I say river, it's more of a creek in a lot of places, but still, it's a beautiful spot to hang out on a summer afternoon and have a drink and just catch up with friends. But, talking a little bit more about scenic beauty. All right, so talking about scenic beauty, a couple things. Number 1, like I said, Red Rocks Amphitheater, right out your back door. But also, since you are just far enough out of the, the hustle and bustle of a city, you do have a lot more wildlife. So you're going to see a lot of, deer, even maybe occasionally an elk. You'll definitely find some bears. There's a lot of mountain lions in this neighborhood. You'd have a lot of just wildlife, which adds to that level of just scenic beauty and just the adventure of living, again, a little bit more in the mountains. So I think that Morrison is a great option if that's something that is important to you. And also, when you talk about Morrison, in addition to just the actual, downtown little small Morrison town that you can walk up and down the street in, 20 minutes, it's very, very quaint. But also, when you look, for example, at real estate in Morrison, you're going to find a lot of other areas considered Morrison that are really close, but also worth considering and just checking out. So you're definitely going to want to check out Red Rocks Country Club. Red Rocks Country Club has some of my favorite homes in all of the western side of Denver. Really nice golf course, really good views. And it's just, again, this really just unique environment where you have a great golf course, some homes that have a little bit larger plots of land. However, I will say there's a good mixture of types of homes. You've got townhomes, you've got single families, you've got a little bit more luxury homes. You got a little bit of everything, but just the way they've laid everything out, I think is done very well, very tastefully and professionally, and it really flows well. So definitely if you're looking at more of a single family home and you want to still be in this part of town, in Morrison, definitely check out Red Rocks Country Club. Going back to scenic beauty and just what makes Morrison so special, we talked about wildlife and just the natural beauty of the being, in the mountains, but still only a 5 or 10 minute away from back into the real world. But also the main point of this whole video today, Red Rocks Amphitheater. So Red Rocks Amphitheater is my favorite place to be in the summertime. If you haven't been before, definitely anxious for you to learn a little bit more about it and definitely put it on your bucket list. Red Rocks is something that is really hard to put into words until you've gone and seen one of your favorite shows there. And if you're not a huge music buff, maybe music and just live music concerts isn't your thing, there's a lot of other opportunities still to check out Red Rocks. So don't pass on going to Red Rocks if you're just not into the live music scene. You've got Movie on the Rocks throughout the summer where they play classic movies, Indiana Jones, Top Gun, movies like that. Bring a picnic blanket and some snacks, bring your whole family. A really fun way to watch a movie, kind of like a drive-in, but at this iconic music venue. They've also got a lot of fitness things going on in the summertime. There's yoga on the rocks. There's different, workout type group activities where you can show up and a couple thousand people will be there to work out with you. Lots of fun, different things to do there. It's also a great visitor center and just a museum at the top of the amphitheater that I'll talk more about here in a second. So talk a little bit more about Red Rocks first though. We've got a couple things that makes Red Rocks so special. Number one, just the natural acoustics. At Red Rocks, you've got these two enormous red rock formations on either side, which makes this perfect natural amphitheater. It plays perfect for the eardrums and just how you want to have music reverberating off of these two big red rock formations. And it just truly is a natural wonder when it comes to the quality of sound that it produces. In the entire country, I would say that Red Rocks is without a doubt the number one place that almost every musician wants to play. I would say a close second or maybe even an even competitor to Red Rocks would be the Gorge, but really those are the two in the entire country that are known for their outdoor natural acoustics. One of the reasons, again, why Red Rocks is so special and what makes Morrison 5 minutes away such a great place to consider living. So talking a little bit more about just the concerts and that live music piece to Red Rocks Amphitheater. They have had some of the most iconic bands that you've ever heard of play at Red Rocks, which just makes it even that much cooler when you go to see your first show and just think about all of both the artists that have been performing there and also just the crazy amount of just unique types of people that have been there as well to see these acts perform. We're talking about the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Grateful Dead. This summer, even in current bands, we've got Sting playing there. I went and took my mom to see Tom Petty there a couple years ago. You've got all these classic rock type bands and just very iconic, popular bands from multiple generations. But you also have new types of music really coming up in the scene. So right now at Red Rocks, you'll see a lot of country music and you'll also see a lot of EDM. So EDM is electronic dance music. It's one of my favorite types of music to see live. It just has a different level of just energy and excitement seeing that type of music with all the production with the lasers and lights and fire and all kinds of stuff going on. So regardless of what type of music you like, there's going to be a show there that most likely you're going to find a show there that you like. Just make sure you guys take a look. Right now is a great time to look for the next year. So if you're looking at this video live, filming this in the end of August, consider looking at the schedule at the end of the year to get tickets for the following spring and summer because Red Rocks is so popular, it does sell out quick. So I mentioned earlier about the visitor center at Red Rocks. Go up to the very top of the amphitheater. There's also several different parking lots. So if you don't want to walk up the stairs, just when you go to park, just park at the upper north lot. From there, you'll be able to walk up a smaller amount of stairs and get to the visitor center. The visitor center is just at the very top of the amphitheater, and it's basically this tribute to all of the amazing acts and just the development of the amphitheater over the years. It's changed quite a bit from its first creation as far as the quality of just the steps and the different seating that's been built out. They also did a really amazing improvement just on the actual stage a few years ago, added a ton more speakers and more lights and visuals now where you can project different logos of the band onto the red rock formations on either side of you. All kinds of really innovative stuff going on over the last few years. Going back to just the visitor center and the option of just checking that out, besides going to a show, you can just go there. It's free if you go there before the doors open for concerts, and you can actually grab lunch down there. They have private events there if you're ever looking for a place to have a wedding, just some sort of an event. Really cool spot in my opinion to have it. But you can just check out again all of these old ticket stubs and just pictures from some of these iconic bands like I talked about earlier. Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, Fleetwood Mac. Some of the greatest bands of all time have all, for the most part, played here at Red Rocks. So definitely check out that visitor center. And, if you guys want to, leave a comment below. I want to hear what bands you would like to see at Red Rocks. If you've never been before, what would be your number one band to see at Red Rocks? If you could, have a ticket to any concert in the world, what would it be? All right, so go right into number two. So again, number one was just the scenic beauty of Morrison and Red Rocks right next door. Number 2 is just talking about all of the outdoor activities that are available to you if you live in Morrison and on this western side of town. So if you're a mountain biker, some of the best trails in all of Colorado are going to be right out your back door if you live in Morrison. So definitely, if you're a mountain biker, this should be high on your list to at least explore a bit more and see if this might be a spot for a future home for you. But if you're not a big mountain biker, I'm not huge into that. I like hiking a lot and some other similar activities. All of that is available if you live in Morrison and on this western side of town. So, a couple of different, local tips that I'll share with you. Number 1, just as I was in the last portion of this video, Red Rocks Amphitheater. So you can't mountain bike in Red Rocks. You can go on just the roads, but there's not really mountain biking trails within the actual Red Rocks Amphitheater portion, but there are a ton of good hiking trails. You'll see a lot of wildlife, some really nice views of the city, as well as great red rock formations. And then there's also some more specific trails very close to Red Rocks Amphitheater. So one of those is Mathews Winters Trail, and that's the mountain biking spot. So if you want to do mountain biking, if you want to check out some of the best in the state, check out Mathews Winters. Ton of really, really cool trails. A lot of them have a little bit of a drop off on one side, but with really nice views of the Front Range, again, the rock formations in the area, and just a really great spot to go, in my opinion, in the spring and the fall, just because it's not quite as hot. It is an area that has a lot of sun exposure, so if you're going in the middle of summer, middle of the day, it's going to be a little toasty. Another really cool spot that's right in between Mathews Winters and Red Rocks is Dinosaur Ridge. Dinosaur Ridge is this very gradual, basically a road that you can walk up, and it's just called Dinosaur Ridge for a reason. They found all sorts of prehistoric dinosaur artifacts. There's a bunch of prints up there, footprints in the different portions of the rock. There's some leftover from where they pulled bones out of the ground, where you can still see kind of the indention of where those were found. Just a lot of, very, very, very old, stuff going on at Dinosaur Ridge that is just, another fun place to take, especially if you got kids that are interested in dinosaurs. It's very accessible and easy to get to. And even for people that aren't specifically going there just to learn more about that stuff, it's also a great workout because you have a very nice steady incline that lasts, to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but I think it's just under a mile in length to go up to the top. And you can, just do that as a frequent workout where you can always try and beat your previous time. And it's just a very consistent trail. You kind of always know what you're getting into when you go to Dinosaur Ridge. Check that out if you're looking for a really good workout. And then another local tip, if you want to, do some different outdoor activities in Morrison, right across the highway, so right across C470 from the town of Morrison, we've got Bear Creek Lake Park. And Bear Creek Lake Park is, I'd say, one of the most up-and-coming, just popular outdoor spaces in all of Denver. Bear Creek Lake Park, if you go on this in the summer on a weekend, you are going to see more paddleboarders and kayakers and just people out enjoying the lake and the water than you're going to be blown away. I'm saying probably 500 or more people out there sometimes on a busy day. It is a very popular, but also kind of a social, fun place to check out if you're maybe single or you're just looking for a place just to, mingle with other people that you haven't met before. Definitely a really good spot for that. It's also, like I said, right across from the town of Morrison. So really anywhere within Morrison that you may decide to live someday, you're going to have really good, easy access to Bear Creek Lake Park. Definitely check that out. Also really good for camping, including RV and larger motorhome camping. So if you have some family or friends from out of town visiting and they've got a camper, it's a great place to recommend for them as well. Nice, easy access to downtown Denver, easy access to Red Rocks Amphitheater for a concert. It's just a really well-designed, upkept very well. Just a great spot to check out. So Bear Creek Lake Park, check it out. And then the last place I'll recommend when I'm talking again about my second point here, which is all about the great outdoor activities available when you live in the Morrison area, is one of my favorite golf courses in all of Denver, really in all of Colorado, anywhere in the world that I've played, and that's called Arrowhead. So Arrowhead is going to be a little bit south of Morrison, but it's still a very easy 15-minute drive from Morrison. And Arrowhead is just, again, an iconic golf course that has that similar red rock formation view that you would have at the amphitheater. And it's just a very unique, well-designed golf course, and it's always been my favorite to play. I don't play there very often because it can be quite expensive. It's also very, very popular. But as long as you've got a couple, 2 weeks or so heads up, you can plan ahead for a tee time. Definitely put that on your list of golf courses to check out in Colorado. In the last few years, they haven't been keeping up with the greens and just the actual course itself as much as they used to, but it does, though, still have something that just makes it so unique compared to most other golf courses you'll play, and that's just these very unique, incredible red rock formations and just the beauty behind the landscape that you play at Arrowhead. Check out Arrowhead, and if you need a fourth person to join your group, hit me up. All right, so shared with you my first one, scenic, incredible place to live. Number 2, all the outdoor activities available if you live in Morrison. My third and final one is kind of going off the same topic, same ideas, these first two, but it's just the incredible opportunity that Morrison provides people if you really want that perfect balance of living in the mountains, but still being a short drive away from the city and all the amenities that you have in the Denver area, especially on this western side of town, which would be mostly Lakewood and even Littleton. And I'll add Golden into that as well. So those are kind of the neighboring communities, neighboring areas that are close to Morrison that you would also be able to easily get to and enjoy if you were living in the mountains in Morrison. Yeah, again, such a great balance of the mountains and the city life. Driving to downtown Denver from most areas within Morrison is still, anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes, a little bit quicker depending on where exactly you might be living, but it's very doable. It's also on a couple the roads that you would take to get there are typically not quite as busy as other parts of Denver, like down south and southeast in Aurora and the I-25 corridor. So coming from Morrison to get to Denver, to go to the Broncos game, to go to the just downtown Denver area, you're going to be, depending on the time of day, like anywhere in Denver at this point, but you're going to have a little bit easier commute than you would in other parts of just the Denver metro area. But again, also just talking though about just the ability to have that balance of the mountains and the city life. In Morrison, you're within a 5-minute drive of some incredible hikes, very, wooded, cool. It's the middle of summer and it's super hot in Denver. You're treated by living in Morrison because you have a little bit cooler temp to begin with. You got a lot more shade, just being a little bit more against the mountainside. And you have all of these other trails that are within, a very short drive going up that Highway 285 that I mentioned. You can go up to Conifer, up to Evergreen, lots of other fun little towns that are again going west up towards the up towards the mountains and into kind of just the foothills of the mountains. So some great areas in my opinion to consider living if you want that balance of mountains and city. Before we close out this video, I do also want to share 2 of my favorite places to check out in the city and in the town of Morrison, 2 restaurants. The first one is called The Fort. So The Fort is a classic restaurant in Denver. I'm a 40-year born and raised in Denver, Colorado, I'm a native, and I'd say The Fort is probably one of 5 restaurants, if I had to just name a list of 5 restaurants that I can remember going to as a child or just have always been a staple in Denver. And I would say The Fort probably is on that list. The Fort, doesn't necessarily look like anything too spectacular from the outside other than its very unique architecture with the stucco and a little bit more southwestern type feel. But it's what I always think about with The Fort, the first restaurant I ever went to where they offered rattlesnakes. So I had snake for the first time, which sounds disgusting. Actually wasn't all that bad, I don't think. It kind of tasted like chicken, go figure. But, The Fort is definitely a place just to put on your list of restaurants to check out, especially if you end up deciding to live in this side of town and take friends and family when they're visiting up to The Fort. So that's my first recommendation from a local on where to, consider going out to eat in Morrison. And then my second is the Morrison Inn. So the Morrison Inn is just downtown Morrison. It's been a staple in the community for several decades. Just again, locally owned and operated business, lots of history behind it. Nothing super fancy though, so it's very casual. Great place to go if you are maybe going up for just an afternoon and want to escape the heat. Go up and hang out by the river for a little bit, get a nice meal at Morrison Inn, and just do a little bit of shopping. That would be a great afternoon for a lot of people. Definitely also check out the Morrison Inn and then again, the Fort. All right, guys, so there you have it. 3 reasons why I think Morrison can be a great option for you if you're considering living in Denver, Colorado, and still want to have that great balance of being close to the mountains and almost feeling like you are in the mountains, while at the same time having the accessibility of the city and not feeling like you're completely detached and way up in the middle of nowhere. Morrison is a great option if you're a music buff like myself. You love going to see live concerts at Red Rocks Amphitheater. What an incredible opportunity to live just 5 minutes away from one of the best venues in the world. And on top of all of that, guys, just the scenic beauty of this part of Denver. Denver has a lot of great neighborhoods throughout all sides of Denver, north, south, east, and west, but I'm a little bit partial to the western side. I love having the mountains up against the hillside where you just have a little bit more depth and dynamic views with just more going on, and just all of the beautiful red rock formations that exist in the Red Rocks Amphitheater, but also throughout this Morrison neighborhood. So if you guys are considering moving to Denver and you like this western side of town, hit me up. I would love just to connect with you guys, give you a few more tips on places to check out, and hopefully, again, find out some ways that I can provide value as you consider moving here to the Mile High City. Until next week, look forward to talking to you then. Don't forget, hit that like and that subscribe button. Reach out if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon. Bye.